Yeah. All right. So, episode 3. Can't believe it's been up. I've already done 2 episodes. It's crazy. So, breaking the fourth wall. Welcome to the Greater Good, episode 3. We are here at the lovely, most awesome Studios 239 in the shops at Vanderbilt, which we love. It's a Friday, which we also love. And thanks to Tim and Diana for allowing us to be here today. I'm Matthew Dykes. I am your host, and this is The Greater Good, and it's a show created to share the untold stories of hope, inspiration, and purpose. And there's enough negativity out in the world. So we want to put some positivity back into it. And thank you for joining us today. This show is about individuals joining together to build stronger communities and change the world for the greater good. Today, our guests are Rimi and Keith Wallace. And we're going to get into their backgrounds of who they are, what they do, why they do it, why we should care, and all that good stuff. But yeah, some really exciting things that they're both working on. They're both actually writers, producers, creators, directors. But you have a day job separate from that, and you have a night job separate from that we want to get into as well. Yeah, who wants to start? Keith?
Yo, you want me to start? I don't mind.
C comes 4K. So.
Sure.
Oh, we're going alphabetical.
All right.
Man, okay.
So
So
went with Wallace,
it's official. It's a video.
You sure you want to follow me, bro?
You know what?
It's an easy follow. Don't worry. Easy follow.
So tell me a little bit about your background and what you do.
I'm a stand-up comic as far as what I do. So I'm a stand-up comic for 28 years, and now turned filmmaker the last 10 years. So got in kind of a bit late. Did cruise ships about 10 years of my career. Sobered up, got off that, and decided to start writing, which used that as my addiction other than alcohol, and which we can get into
It's
later.
A good trade, though. It's a good trade.
Yeah. So, but
Healthier.
yeah. So right now, I'm just filmmaking. Made a feature film. I Possess that we're finishing up here. It's been a 3-year process, but it's all finished. We're just working on some minor tweaks.
Amen. It's nice to just have it in the can, right?
Oh my gosh. I feel like we had done the impossible, and I know people have done it before, but it feels like the impossible when, especially you guys know the process of this from start to finish, it feels impossible.
Yeah.
And it's still looking back going, I can't believe we have what we have.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very surreal feeling when you, when it's just an idea in your head, and then it hits paper, and then you see it being put in production. And I know Keith is we're on the cusp of experience on all of that. I mean, you've done films. Keith's done films, commercials, all sorts of things. Go ahead and share with us some of those things you've done.
Now I'm trying to come in from the back end now. I'm
Yeah.
seeing it from the other lens, where now I'm learning about more of.
Yeah, you got to get close to the mic
I gotta
there.
Kiss it. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead and chomp down on it. Go ahead and scoot it a little closer to you.
Put my napkin on. Get to eat this
Yeah.
So I've been an actor and model for over 25 years, and it was always me in front of the camera. And after 2019, I said, okay, I've kind of accomplished what I started to, 25 years ago, was to make it into a feature film. And I said, okay, I got that. Nothing's going to top that. What's next? Well, start an entertainment company, which I did. So now I'm like, Carl, I want to make content. I want to create content, which is what I'm doing.
You didn't just get into a feature film. Okay, let's be real. You got into the feature film.
Yeah, I heard about that film.
Yeah, I think most of the world's heard about that film.
Right. So Avengers Endgame it's the biggest, one of the biggest movies of all time. And I remember watching Avengers in 2018 or 2008, and I'm thinking, man, that was good. That was really good. It was awesome. I grew up reading comics books. But if someone had told me in 2008 that, hey, you love that movie? Well, you're going to be in the finale of what this movie created, I'd have said, yeah, get out of here. No way. Well, it happened. But acting modeling started because I was bored at work. I worked at Naples Daily News for 24 years. When I started there, it was fun. Graphic designer, it was great. Started getting bored after 12 years. Started acting, modeling, kind of loved that. Loved, going into one world and being somebody different for a couple of days or whatever. Then going back to my day job, but I also worked private security, which was even more rewarding. So I'd go between those three worlds and just enjoying it, having fun. So kind of led me to this point to where now I want to make a feature film. Also want to help people get into the business and be a resource of that, because when I started, that resource wasn't there. I didn't make a whole lot of mistakes, but the guidance wasn't there, and I had to find out things the hard way. So that's my company. One of the things my company is going to do is help individuals get into the business, guide them so they don't make any mistakes, and just, live their dream like I did.
So how did you guys realize, though, and this is to both of you guys, how did you realize that the movies is where it's at? This is what I want to do.
And when I got off the ships, I started acting and doing some stuff. So I was in like 8, 9 feature films, did like a lot of commercials, a lot of infomercials as well. And I noticed a lot of it wasn't good. It wasn't done right. There was a lot of mistakes that I could see was being made. Maybe the directors and the producers and stuff weren't even taking this thing as seriously as I was. Like, I'd be the one earliest to set, and I'm like, and then the end result wasn't good. There's a lot of things that I'm in that just didn't turn out good, and I gave 110% every project they do, and that's what I always do, is give 110%. So I was like, well, how do I cut out this problem of like where I'm the most motivated one on set, is to create my own content, so started writing scripts. And then we had a script that it was like a one house, kind of psychological horror film that was feasible to do, on a lower budget. So I decided, well, let's just do it ourselves. And then that I can control that. The one thing I can control is me. And so producing it. So I knew I wasn't going to give it half a go. I knew I was going to go full 100% and do it to the best of my ability. So that's the reason basically why I got in. It wasn't for any kind of, I just wanted to make something really good and really impactful, that other people can relate to, even though it's a fun horror film. But there's a lot of serious moments in this piece, and it has a message, and I wanted to do that. And I don't think I could have done it without me doing it. Like, if it's like, you want to star in a feature film, well, produce it, write it, you can star in it. I don't think I would have got a role like this on my own, especially in South Florida. Like, there's not a whole lot of work.
No,
so,
it's not quite the booming Hollywood.
Right. But if you want if you want really good content that you're proud of, then maybe take control of that. That's kind of what
It's got to be a scary feeling to show up on set to a project and you're the only one dialed in. Especially if you're not one of the leads, that's really got to give you a moment of pause. What about you, Keith? Was it just the comic books that got you involved in that, or what?
I think comic books open your mind a little bit to the different aspects of life. Reading. Comic books were kind of risque back in the day. They're even worse now. And I remember my mom threw away our comic books, my brother's comic books, on multiple occasions, because I think she saw some of the stuff that was in there, but somehow they gravitated back. I learned so much how to read from just reading comics. It doesn't matter what you're reading. You're reading something, vocabulary enhanced, how to phrase words. It was good. It was just what we were reading. But it opened my eyes to, different worlds and just the fantasy world. And even now, I don't like watching movies that are real, like it can really happen. Our lives are already too real enough, and things going on in the world. I like to be taken away from reality, but also I like how those films have a message too. So like Carl said, you want to create content now. And then once you create content that you see that's missing out there, it's perfect. And I was working on 4 different films, trying to raise funds for those films, and I did not own them, but I was out trying to get money for them. And I kept hitting these roadblocks. And like Carl said, create your own content, you call the shots, you bring the team together. You're probably the first one on set, and you do the things that you would like those other sets to do to make things successful. So that was my goal. And when I started acting, and I'm in a couple of things, people would say, "Why don't you go to Miami? I mean, New York. You know, why aren't you in LA?" And Collier County is my home. I want to do stuff here, and I don't want to be a full-time actor. I don't. That wasn't my goal. I wanted to go in between the worlds that I love to do: security, acting, you know, and then come back and just be me. But now I'm at the point now I want to make a movie to where I can bring different cast in, address some of the issues that are going on in Collier County right now, which is top of everybody's mind every week is these pythons, some of the anacondas, new species of snakes. Every week, it is a problem. I had this idea about this movie called Ophidian maybe a year and a half ago. And I finally decided to get serious about it in January. And sure enough, every week, the snakes are in the news. So my goal for this film is to not only get local actors to work, to stimulate the economy, help promote tourism, but also create content for this area. So it's just something I love to do, helping people and bring people together.
So it's real interesting, though. What really fueled that fire to know that, look, I've never done this, but I know that I was dialed in, and I know I could do a better job than this person. So you know what? I'm just going to wing it. I mean, what really fueled you to be able to just go, you know what? I want to do this. I'm going to do this. But I mean, how did you take that step?
For the simple fact that for the last 3 or 4 years, I was actually helping people do just what I'm doing now. We were casting for roles, you know, we were helping for photography, we were helping with the scenes and stuff like that. So all the things we were doing for other people, just sit back and go, man, I could do that for my film. Not only just that I have some of the knowledge, but I know the players, the people that I've been helping. I'm going to tap into them and ask them to help me now, bring them on the team, because together we can get something done. So that's kind of made, you know, the resources are here. We just have to showcase those resources. And that's part of what Wallace Entertainment wants to do, is showcase those resources and make feature films. So
to people that are maybe more intimidated by that, how would you say they should, you know, if you're one of our viewers wants to make a film, what's the biggest challenge that they would face, and how would they hurdle past that?
Well, just begin, start, go.
That's great advice.
Yeah. If you have hesitancy in anything, you're not going to succeed. So if you go in not knowing what the outcome's going to be, but not caring what the outcome's going to be, if you give it your all, things will happen. Grace will happen. Things will come to you with being full in. And that's what I did. I didn't necessarily think I could do it better than anybody else. You know, I just thought maybe my ignorance was a blessing at the time, because I was like, sure. Oh, I think I want to make something that I want to watch. You know, that I don't see out there that I wanted to. You know, I probably did it for selfish reasons. You know, initially, but and turned into this big thing. And yeah, it's like. And some people were like, well, you got lucky doing this, lucky doing that. No, we'll put ourselves in positions to get that luck.
That's right.
And you have to begin. You have to just do it. And that's what I see Keith is doing. He's just out there every day grinding. You know, you don't know.
Crazy.
It is so hard to produce a movie and to put all the pieces together and to get the funding, is, you know, to have people believe in you, to make people believe in you. And that's the thing that you have to do is get people to be on your side and be on your team and want this thing to succeed just as much as you do.
Is that the hardest part of the process, you guys think? Is it the battle within, or is it the negotiating and finding the people to say yes? Is it getting the people to believe in you? I mean, what is the hardest part of this process?
The hardest part is getting started. You can sit there and talk about it and think about it, and you talk yourself out of it. And, oh, I got to do this, now I got to do this. And then, you know what? I've done the same thing myself. So like you said, hardest part is getting started. And once you get started, you're going to find it may get a little harder, but your passion, your goal is going to keep motivating you. Hopefully, if it's something you really want to do. If it's not, you'll probably stop after a few months. But building that team that's not going to be just like you or like-minded, but just building that team, a support team that's going to help you and motivate you is key too. You can't do it by yourself. You can, but it's going to be hard.
Yeah, and you have to build the right team. But honestly, it is all hard. It's the hard. There's no hardest part. The hardest part is everything. From beginning to up till now to the end, the distribution phase, it's all hard. And that's the thing. Are you willing to take this journey where it's like you want to quit every 5 days? Like you want to always quit.
Day.
Yeah, every day. Every day I wanted, I was like, man, am I built for this? And you got to look internally, there's a lot of things. And a lot of people say they want to do stuff, but it's easy to say you want to do it or can do it, but do it,
You think that's the biggest misconception about the industry is that, oh, well, I just show up and look pretty and it all works out.
Yeah.
You think that's the biggest misconception?
Well, yeah,
because this is a real job. This is really difficult
and it's not fun, and it can be fun, but
it's not fun at all. That's why we do
this
it,
whole
folks.
and we don't, and I'll do it again.
I can't wait to do it again.
There's, and it might be the addiction in me, via the whole, that I've had the addiction, but it's like once I start, you can't stop. It's kind of in your blood. It's kind of what you want to do. You're on a mission. You have a goal, and you're not going to stop until you achieve that goal. And there's a lot of filmmakers out there that don't have that passion. They just want to. I just want to say I did a movie, or it's more about the what it looks like, the bigger picture of it. I want to get the award. I want to be in the festival. I want to be sitting there and walking up and get my award. I don't do this for awards, or else I'd be in every little festival. I'd be trying to get a
the jobs itself. Getting to do this as a job is the award.
The award.
Yeah.
Every day I was on set, I stood back and took a moment to be like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I don't know if I'll ever get to do it again, but it's amazing to be here. And I think a lot of people take that for granted. To shoot a film, to shoot a feature film, and not that you just put together, just to be a part of one, is something unique and exciting. And I think a lot of people take that for granted. And then that's what leads to failure,
Well, and I think a lot of that has to do with being present where you are and taking time to breathe it all in. I remember one of the first projects I did after I left the network, and I was out on my own, but I was on a boat at 9 a.m. in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico with a camera in hand. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm actually doing it. And man, I've never been so scared to death, but excited. It was a weird feeling. It was this confluence of multiple feelings I couldn't explain. And I really couldn't even put words to, but I'm excited. I'm getting goosebumps now, just thinking about that feeling I had from that first day, just sitting out, looking over the bow of the boat and watching these waves coming, like, I'm actually going to be doing this. This is my job. This is my job. So yeah, it was a really cool feeling. And I want other people to experience that, and that's something, let's talk about your guys' projects. So your project, Carl, is I Possessed, and Keith, you've got multiple projects, but the main one that you're working on now is Ophidian, right?
Right.
All right. So, Carl, go ahead and start me out. Just give me the quick log line and quick synopsis of what the film is.
Okay, it's a psychological horror film about these 5 people that go to this house and it's haunted. And the way this house haunts these 5 main characters are by their own past regrets start creeping out throughout the night.
Wow.
So the demons inside. So I possessed. So that
Right.
we have a demon in the film, and there's a reason why it happens, but it's not a demon possession film. That's more the orchestrator through all the other characters and their own regrets start creeping out throughout the night.
Yeah, and I can tell you, it's creepy. I've watched it. It's good.
Yeah, you're working on it.
I'm actually working on it right now.
Yeah, you're part of the team now.
Yeah, buddy. So Keith, share with me a little bit about Ophidian.
So before I say that, I didn't know Carl until, was it a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago? Kerry Johnson said, Keith, you need to talk to these guys, this couple, they're making a film. But prior to that, maybe 2 months before that, I'm online and and the film pops up in my feed, I Possess, and I watched the trailer, and it caught my attention because it was Southwest Florida film. So I'm like, okay, that's what I want to promote. I want to see what this is. So I watched it and I was like, man, that's a pretty cool trailer. That's awesome. So I shared it into my group. A couple weeks later, Carrie Johnson, photographer, she said, Keith, you need to talk to this couple. I'm set up a Zoom call. I'm like, all right. So we're on a Zoom call and we're talking. And after a few minutes, I'm like, I recognize them, or recognize a shirt or something. And sure enough, it was them. It was their movie that I shared into the group. I didn't even know them, but I said, man, you guys are awesome. That was an awesome film. You shot it here. Amazing. So you guys did a great job, and I'm sure it's getting better. It's okay. Enough about Carl. So
Your turn.
I'll fit in. Let's dim the lights, and I'll get real close, and we'll talk about this film.
Snakes.
Snakes on a plane.
So I love the movie Predator. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the first one. It was like my favorite film. And one day I'm driving down the road, and I thought about Predator and something about a python maybe crossed the road or something. And I'm like, what if these snakes had like this sentiment awareness, and they were like killing the residents and doing all these other things? And what if they had to call in the military? And I thought that was a great idea, but I shelved it for like a year and a half. And then one day last year, I went back to it, wrote a synopsis, tucked it away again. A few months later, called my artist, Sparrow Graphics, and I'm like, hey, make me a poster for this. And that was kind of it. So basically it's about what's happening right now in Collier County. I mean, these pythons and some anacondas, they have pretty much obliterated the Everglades.
What do you mean? So what do you mean by obliterate though? What are they doing to the ecosystem that's causing the problem?
So mainly is the wildlife and the animals, the animals and things that, the other predators used to eat, they're gone now. And then other species of animals gone. So now there's nothing left to eat in the Everglades. And these pythons should not be here. So they're kind of disrupting everything. And so my goal was to not only showcase that, highlight that as a serious problem, because they're all the way up to Punta Gorda now. They're just not staying in the Everglades. So my crazy spin on it was, okay, the predator deal, but hey, let's have Collier County have this snake hunt, and Susie and Johnny are at the Everglades base camp, they're cooking hot dogs and hamburgers and handing sticks to go catch these snakes. And it's working out for a brief period of time. But then some of those people that are going out and hunting these snakes, they stop coming back. More stop coming back. The parking lot's full of these cars, abandoned cars, because these people are not coming back. Rescue party goes out, they stop coming back. So the county's like, hey, we need to call in the big guns. So enter the military. They hunt the snakes, end up in this huge clearing. They don't know what's here. It's an empty clearing. Gonna find out when you do satellite imagery, there's a huge tunnel that goes down on the ground, and that's where the queen is. Soldiers go in, bang, bang, bang. So it's a lot better now. My director and writer have really tweaked it a little bit. So it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's I'm excited to be working on both these films with you guys. I mean, it's that's a dream of mine to be a part of the process. Even though the process, man, every day it's something new. You're like, wow, didn't know that. Man, I wish they had a training manual for that. And I mean, and I did. I went to school for this. This is not like something I'm like, oh, well, I'm just going to do this. And no, I went to school for this, and still I've been doing it for almost 25 years, and I'm still learning every single day. Not just because technology, not just because we're making massive, crazy advancements, which you got to stay up with all of those things, but because there's so much. Every little nuance. I mean, from actors to makeup artists to blocking to wardrobe to location. I mean, it's in the list. Yeah, continuity is the hardest thing in the world. And then if you don't have the continuity piece there, then you've got to be smart enough and go, okay, how can I make this look like I meant this to happen? And it's just, it's a cool little mystery. So I think that's a real fun part of it. What do you think, though, is the biggest area of need in the industry now for not just for people that are in it? I mean, I know we've got this whole SAG-AFTRA thing going on, and frankly, it affects us because there are some jobs that have slowed down here, but we're all independents and we all keep working no matter what, because we're not in the guild, and
we don't care.
Well, we don't care. We're gonna make films.
Cold. We're gonna make stuff.
If they made less money, it would be cold. But guess what? These people have, and I know there's other people are gonna get mad at me.
Oh, they're so mad.
I know there's people out there making their day rates, and they're actors and they're walk-ons and all that stuff. Look, love you, proud of you. You join the union because you get benefits from that. That's awesome. I still don't have health insurance, folks. Okay. And I've got a mortgage. Yeah. So there you go.
I break my leg. You got to, like a horse, you got to take me out.
Yeah. Take me. Yeah. Put me down.
Put me down. That's it. It's done.
It's like, yeah, you're done. Well, life just got a lot easier.
It is what it is, and that's why I love indie filmmaking.
Yeah. 100%. Because really, I have a blatant disregard for authority anyway. I always have. I mean, this huge chip on my shoulder. So when people tell me, no, you can't, or you shouldn't do it that way, watch me. That is my go-to.
I tried it and that didn't work. Okay, the landscape for technology now is, look at YouTube. It wasn't around before. You could become a YouTube star in 6 months. You can shoot movies with your phone. So everything has changed. It's like the deck's been reshuffled. And now you can do things now that are not the typical status quo. You can do things differently. So I like that, rather than this is the format. You got to follow this. We're not in LA. We're in Florida. You can do kind of what you want to do as long as you're not doing anything illegal.
And that's a real key to, I think, all of our success is that whole legal thing.
Yeah.
Now look, ignorance of the law is no excuse, but there's some things you just don't know. And hopefully you're diligent enough to, let's just make sure this is legal. And, I highly encourage everyone to just make sure you check out whatever city and state and local laws there are, and permitting and all that stuff. There's a local film commissioner in every county, just about, I assume. I know there is one here in Collier County, and Maggie, we talk to her whenever we need something. So that's kind of important.
But there's also ways to go around the legality of things. The little guerrilla filmmaking never hurt anybody. Shooting in a location that you're not supposed to shoot. It's a student film.
It is a student film.
But everything's a student film.
I'm a student of this art, by golly.
Well, you had asked what's the biggest need, and I think personally, on my experience, is the need for information, the need to access information, which is why we're doing a film summit in 2024 in March, an indie film summit that we're gonna talk to a lot of experts, and we're gonna put that all into one area. Like how to even begin. People don't even know, where do I start? What's the first thing I do?
Good point.
I didn't know. I tried to be, even starting, I was like trying to YouTube stuff, and you could find little things here. Okay, do that. And then try and piece that together. Okay, maybe I'll do that. But there's really no information all in one place to be go from script to distribution, that whole process. There's a whole process, coloring of the film. There's so many aspects. So that's what I want to do with the summit, is kind of help filmmakers, help film this, new or even veteran filmmakers. I've been in the game a while, but I didn't know how to make a film, and even people that, like a buddy of mine now that I'm bringing him on to do some projects, he's done over 100 music videos. He's very successful. He's commercials, this and that, but he's like, I can't believe you did a film. He's looking at me like I didn't do it. There's a lot of people that did it. I just got the pieces together,
right?
But I didn't know how to do that at first. So I think that's the biggest need,
Yeah, no, I think
for our film, for the film industry.
No, I agree with you. I think that is too. And the source, and finding the source is one thing, but also, how do you disseminate the good advice from the bad advice? It would be great, because there are people out there that are giving great advice. There's also people out there that just absolutely should not have a platform. And they're like, oh no, I've done this and I've done that, and so this is how you need to do it. Right. It's like, you have to consider the source of where you're getting that information
and,
for sure.
and who do you trust, you know? And
Yeah.
that's part of the problem. That's part of the process too, is the vetting your team. That's one of the topics we're going to discuss, is how to properly vet your team. Like, who are they just, you know, are they just telling you they can do stuff? You know, is the, you know,
You're about to find out.
Yeah, you know, and through this whole process, we found the good and the bad, you know,
Yeah.
we found the great and the really bad, you know. So you're going to learn. You're all every project you do, you're going to learn some more stuff.
Yeah.
But that's all a part of growing, you know. But yeah, the information is just, you don't have to know it all. You just have to have the people around you that know it all.
That's
that know
right.
their departments.
Yeah, that's really wise, is to have good counsel around you.
Yeah, and we did, and even for our film, it's like we did 9 test screenings, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why we're still, you know, working. You know, the last screening we did with a notable person was just reiterating the things that we had gotten in our test screenings about, you know, comments back on what we might need to change in the film and fix and help, you know, explain the movie better, because it's not a linear story. So that was all helpful. And a lot of people aren't willing to take that advice and take their, and, you know, because it's your baby, it's their vision. It's
Sure.
like, but you got to take the right critiques. You got to be able to work with other people, or else don't do this business. If you can't work with other people, especially nowadays, if you're hard to get along with, nobody's going to want to work with you. You know, there's so many other people that can do, which everybody's replaceable. I always said it on my set. Everybody's replaceable. Every person on here is replaceable, except me, because it's not going to get done with that.
This is my baby.
But yeah, and I think that with every project you do, you know, and even yourself is replaceable if you think about it, you know. So yeah, that's my philosophy.
No, I mean, I think you're dead on. I really do. I mean, at this industry, it's just such a fickle mistress. Let me tell you.
And some people are in it for the wrong reasons.
No, they are.
And that's why you know, I just want to work with good people, you know, and have fun doing it and create stuff.
But you can't be soft skinned, but you know, you've got to be able to take what people say with a grain of salt, but you also have to remain objective, and you have to say, well, look, number one, are they out to build me up, or are they out to tear down my dream? And hopefully you know this way before you decide to start working on a major project with them. You know, but if you don't, then you need to do some serious soul searching and have some conversations, and I don't know, try group therapy. I mean,
For real.
If nothing else works, make that happen, because seriously, the time that you spend in that is going to save you months and months of just sheer anguish and heartache.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, being able to do these things is mainly because you guys were motivated enough to step out of your comfort zone and to break out of the box and say, I'm not going to accept the norm. I'm going to do this no matter why people would say that I can't accomplish this. I'm going to do it. And by doing so, you guys have been able to really highlight and bring some light to some issues and things in the community that I really want to touch on, because this is the greater good. And everything we've talked about thus far has all been about the greater good, and really the greater good, and helping other people see the greater good within themselves and step outside of themselves. You guys have done that. Keith, one thing that I love that you do is, being a comic book fan myself, you're also a superhero because you were in one of my favorite movies, but also you do some other things for some kids here in the community. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I don't want people to think I like putting on tights and dressing up, because
I mean, he totally does.
I don't.
You have a huge smile every time.
Halloween costumes always seem to be something I'm like, okay, I gotta stop this. But I've always been the type of person that likes to help other people. When I first started working security, I was a bouncer at this club. I'm gonna show my age. It was called the Oasis on Goodlet, I think it was, or Davis. And,
back in the 1900s.
Yeah, like 1800. But I was working this nightclub, and you know, you're a bouncer. You know, you conflict. You go deal with that. And I didn't know if I was going to handle that, but I handled that first couple of weeks pretty well. And I'm like, I like being that resource. I like to help people. Like to help make people feel good and be that resource for information or protection, whatever it is. So that was just kind of came natural to me. So that transcended into the entertainment world. So if someone needs a photographer, someone needs counsel, someone called me the other day, Keith, this agency wants me to pay them $3,000 to represent them. And I'm going, oh, that's it? No, I'm like, you don't need to pay them. This person was actually going to pay them to get them representation and take their photos and all this other stuff. But I just like helping people, like make people feel good. So one of my dreams was to one day go to a hospital dressed in a costume character, as a costume character, superhero. And I'd see them doing it on TV and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But it was never an outlet. Well, one year I was Captain America, the new Captain America. And I called NCH and I said, hey, can I come down? And they were like, yes, you can come down. So did that. Kids, not only the kids, but the staff were happy. And we're coming right off of COVID. You know, they're the heroes. I think they got more out than the kids did, but I got more out of than all of them because I was just like seeing other people happy and making an impact on them. And then I did something at a local movie theater for new Black Panther that came out. So I put on the tights again, you know, but I'm never putting them on again. And I'm saying that right now. Not gonna do it.
Until the next cosplay.
No, unless someone pays me this time.
Right.
But we just outside the movie theater. So people were coming to watch the movie. They saw us and want to take pictures of me and Jamie Bell, who did awesome Tony Stark. But I remember there was
he really does look just like Tony Stark. It's uncanny.
There was
it
about
really
20,
is.
There was about 25 kids that came to the movies. It was one of the kids' birthdays. And so as soon as they saw me, the mom was like, oh, can you take a picture? You know, so they all take a picture of me. And then she sent me the photos the next day and she said, hey, Keith, you made my son's day. You know, it was so awesome that you were there. It's his birthday. You made it special. I get more out of that than anything else. So I personally think I was put on this earth to help people, be a resource for something, and it's just my calling in a way. So, you know, that's kind of what I'm doing, and I think that's going to continue to transcend into everything that I do. So it's just what I meant to do. So,
and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm fine. See, it's that quick.
Hey, I know what you're going to say.
But a lot of that came from the way you were raised, and your mom, I know. You know, she was a big influence on your life, right?
Exactly. And we're all adults. We all had parents. And they always said to us, especially when you were going to go spend a night with your friend's house, be good. Be good. Be good. She didn't have to tell you what that meant. You just knew. And I think
be a good representative.
Yes. And as an adult, I think some of us have forgot that guidance that we got. It's still relevant. Be a good person, associate with people that are good people, and just be good and treat people the way you want to be treated. Now, some people, it's not going to be reciprocated, but at least you're still portraying who you are. And I think our parents had a good foundation for us. We just need to revert back and go, okay, do I want to hang out with that person? Are they a reflection of me? Guilty by association. Like you said, find out these things early before you go into business with other people, because they're going to either help you or not help you. And you'd rather know that now. So charity work is something I love to do. Definitely like working with kids or adults. Just want to see people happy and just try to make this world a better place.
Yeah, absolutely. And Carl, so
I played Santa drunk on a cruise ship one time.
I've heard about that.
Yeah. But that's a
you
whole
played
other story.
Santa drunk.
It's a long story.
Ask you, how is it?
It's a long
what's
story.
allowed you to assist the community?
Yeah.
Well, I played drunk Santa.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't supposed to be drunk.
Yeah.
But, you know.
It wasn't.
So they called you for a stand-in for that.
It's a long story.
So yeah, I mean, with your background, how has that allowed you to shed some light on some things and be a positive impact on your community?
Well, yeah, strike that drunk Santa from the right. It was literally like that.
Look, we
Santa.
all have a past.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I did cruise ships for 10 years and I had a drinking problem, like a bad one. And I got off in the end of 2012, 2013 and sobered up. Like, I had to detox, go to the hospital, this and that. I was hallucinating, talking to people that weren't there. I was pretty messed up. I guess that happens when you're drinking a couple bottles a day. but yeah, not proud of all that stuff. But I got off, sobered up, and started writing, which saved my life. Started to create and starting to try and do acting and whatever. Just anything else but drink, all day. So I feel like writing kind of did that for me. So, and then hence, cut to 10 years from now, doing a feature film. And one of my characters in the feature film is an Army Ranger sniper veteran suffering from PTSD. And so he hallucinates throughout the whole night, talking to his dead lieutenant of 10 years. And I kind of took a lot of that backstory and that PTSD from my experiences, obviously not military wise, but everybody has some form of PTSD. It doesn't matter. You didn't have to storm the beaches of Normandy, and there are levels, I'm sure. But we, I have, I still have nightmares about how I was, and in recovery and all that stuff. And so I utilized that portion of the story, me talking to people, and put this into my character. I put a lot of things that I went through into my character and all the other characters. So that's really helped me, and it can bring awareness to people watching this film. It's going to be like, well, I have that same issue, or I've done that, and wow, that makes me feel some type of way. And I feel like that we're with this horror film that we're going to actually open some people's minds to certain things, which I think is a good thing, and that'll be the greater good. With this film, and what I've gone through. And also I do once a month at a rehab. I do a rehab show for these guys, or women and guys who are in recovery. And, I don't make anything off it, but the thing is that, like, I just did one last week, and to see their faces, kind of change, and kind of, to take that weight off for like 45 minutes of going through recovery, and the strain and the struggle in their eyes. And, I've been there, and I didn't have somebody just telling jokes for like 40 minutes, and like, I'm not preaching to them. I'm just telling them jokes,
Right.
Not catering. I'm doing drug jokes, it's like, they don't care. They just,
you all know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you don't.
Yeah. This all hits home. Yeah. But yeah, and I do that, and, and I don't do it for any particular reason. I break even doing it, but I feel it's giving back, and I'll always do it, I think, and I want to do it on a bigger level. If I become more successful, I always want to give back, and hopefully, God will let me be successful enough where I can give it back to somebody, and show them that you can sober up, and you can do something with your life after, while in sobriety.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just like you guys were talking, the hardest part is starting. And that goes for anything we do. So whether it's, I think sometimes, well, I don't have anything to offer anyone, but that's not true. Everybody has a unique experience. And, if you just, are active and out there seeking and out there looking, it'll show up. And you'll be used, and you can be out there, and you can make a difference. If you could just make a difference in one person's life, man, it's all worth it. Even if you don't know what that is, just volunteer for anything. And you never know, by taking that first step, where that next step's going to lead you, and where the next step's going to lead you, and what doors those are going to open. No, I love it. And I love that you guys are, keeping it real. I don't mean it like that. I mean, I love that you guys just haven't forgot where you came from, and you realize that struggle. And I think that's important for people that have to have empathy and go, man, if I could just help someone not have to jump over one or two hurdles that I had to, or break through at least one brick wall instead of going through 10, because after a while your head gets sore, man. Yeah. So with the greater good, you guys have definitely made a huge impact, and I know that you're leaving the world a better place, and it's going to continue on and on. And I'm excited to see where that's going to go. So you guys have some future projects that you're working on now. I mean, obviously we're still working on these films. What are some of the other projects you guys have?
Well, one
that you can talk about?
Yeah, I know.
I know.
Actually, I can't.
Everybody's
Do
having that
I
question.
knew
Oh,
in my
wait,
mind,
can I
I'm
say
going,
this?
I
man,
said, yeah.
talk about this, man.
It's funny because I was this year gonna work on I wrote a TV show. I wrote a couple episodes of a TV show that's been a dream of mine. I wanted to shoot the pilot for, make it look great, and not saying that it's not a proof of concept, but maybe, just to have something else to show that I do comedy, because people are like, just a horror film, like
Right,
he's a comedian.
That was your go-to.
Yeah. I just call it Midlife College. It's about these three guys that go back to play for the worst Division III school football team in all of the country. So it's kind of like Old School meets Friday Night Lights. So I was going to shoot that this year, but things kind of took a turn a little bit. I got this script from a buddy of mine, and I think I'm going to go back to producing and acting and the whole nine. I know I sent you the script.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and put the team together and start at square one on this new project. And I can't say anything about it because it's a topical thing, and it's very relevant to what something that's happened. So I think it's very exciting. I think it needs to be done. That's why I kind of put like everything to the side right now. And plus I'm finishing up I Possess, so that's taking a lot of time. But
you're in the distribution phase right now with I Possess,
yeah.
right?
We have a producer rep, Glenn Reynolds from Circus Roads, who's who's on board with all the changes we're doing. So
great.
So we're just gonna move forward with that, and then move forward with that other project secretly for now.
Right.
Yeah.
I gotcha. It's like Star Wars Blue Harvest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Keith, I know you have a million things going on every day anyway. I don't know when you have time to sleep, because I know you text me at 5 a.m. when you're at the gym.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel blessed that I've received at least 12 scripts now since I started Wallace Entertainment.
Yeah.
That shows me there's a need for what I'm doing, because people see something in me. I'm going to make sure I'm trying to figure out now how to actually get those scripts in front of the people that need to see them. Because if I'm that resource, I want to set up some type of platform where I host those scripts. And then if people are coming to me for things, then I can say, yeah, I've got this movie over here from Jeff Frey. I got this other script over here you may look at, and kind of be that broker in a way. And again, it all helps. It helps everybody. I don't really have too many, big projects other than Ophidian that I'm looking at, but there's some other projects that were handed to me that are pretty awesome. But Ophidian will kickstart everything. It is. So any project that was given to me, ideas that I have in my head, this film is going to kickstart everything, in my opinion, my projects and other people's projects. So it's going to be an even bigger platform, bigger resource than it was a couple of years ago. So it just tells me this is what I should be doing right now. This is where I'm at. And the fact that these snakes are in the news every week, it's like, not saying it's right in itself, but it's keeping everything relevant to the point when we're even close to putting this out. Hopefully it's died down a little bit, this problem, but unless we throw everything at it to combat it, I've got a feeling it's still going to be around, which we hope brings enough awareness to for people to be more responsible about the environment, the ecosystem, and how we leave this planet. And the Collier County Commissioners, I worked for them professionally for 6 years. I can tell you that regardless of what their district they represent, they care about all of Collier County, and not just, the next 5 or 10 years. They're setting up Collier County for the next 50, 60, 70, 80 years. They're not thinking about short-term, long-term. So I think we bringing enough awareness to this film is definitely going to help them, but then also it's just going to leave this area better for everybody, for our kids. So this is a long-term project in our mind, and we plan on doing more films that are going to be shot in Southwest Florida, which means tourism, the economy, small businesses. I mean, we plan to bring a lot of money to Collier County with just this one film. Now imagine we do 2 a year. That may not be the same genre, but it's something else. Yeah, it's super exciting. So
Chihuahuas. Revenge.
The Revenge.
The Revenge of the Chihuahua.
Chihuahua versus Python.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
pay to
yeah.
see that. I want to see that happen.
And the fact that Sharknado, the Cocaine Bear, that's what I mean by there's no typical movie now. Someone came up with the idea and just said, I'm going to do it. Just like Carl, he said, I'm going to do this film, you know?
Yeah.
And I guarantee his film is going to be on par, if not better, than these other films. But if a movie like that, and I don't knock anybody for even coming up with the idea, because everybody on that set, professional,
Mhm.
the crew, and the talent, an idea, they executed, and they weren't worrying about, oh, that's not going to work. What are you talking about? A shark? What do you think about a bear? It worked. There's no, it needs to be done like this, and no, that's not going to work. No, I don't want to hear that.
The last thing you can do, I think, on set of a story that you're creating is be worried about the success of it.
Yeah.
You've got to be, you've got to put the work in, and you've really got to focus on the task at hand, which is, hey, let's tell this story the best possible way, and let's create some, let's create a story, let's create some entertainment, but let's really, you know, create a connection with the viewer. And that's the biggest deal, is people establish relationships with people that they view all the time, whether that's, you know, TV, whether that's podcast, whether that's film, you know? And so you've really got to focus on that. So if you're focused on, oh, well, this isn't going to be successful. Well, no, of course it's not.
How many people you think turned them down when they said, sharks? Come on.
Tornado full of sharks.
But someone believed in it, and I'm pretty sure they got money to keep doing these things over and over again. So that's, don't let anybody discourage you from what you want to do, because we got one shot in life. There's no reset button like a video game. This is it. Do what you think you want to be, you do, and don't let anybody discourage you from just living your dream. I created this group on Facebook, Collier County Actors and Models and Entertainers. And I created just so that people would have an opportunity to cast for acting and modeling jobs, photographers to post their work or solicit for work. If you have a project you're working on, you can post that in the group. Aspiring actors and models, especially, they don't know how to get into the business. I posted something for Wayne Brady's his show, Let's Make a Deal, and I dropped it in there, forgot all about it. My friend Sabrina texted me like a few days later, Keith, hey, I applied for it, and they picked me to be on the first couple shows. And I'm like, what? I'm more excited for her that it happened. So creating those opportunities, giving people an outlet. I mean, that's what I would tell someone that's my main goal, is to give people an opportunity where they wouldn't before, because we are situated between Miami and Orlando. If I go to Miami to do a job, they'll say, you from Naples? I'm like, yeah. You get much work there? No, not much, you know, but I want to change that landscape. I want to change that perspective. I want people to come here to shoot movies, television shows, or use a photographer, because if you're here, there's photographers, there's makeup artists here. Why bring those people from other areas? So my goal was to showcase all the talent resources here, so that if you do come here to shoot, or you're planning on shooting here, check in with somebody, you know, find that resource here, because you have to pay for travel for that person. Find them here, save a little bit of money. So this
pour back into your local community.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure. Well, and I think we have a strong enough community that we've built here in South and Southwest Florida, that it's a big state, but we have a small community, but it's a powerful one. And you've heard me say this, I don't know how many times, but just because we're in a small market doesn't mean we have small market talent. I mean, we've got some uber talented people here. So let me ask you this. How do, number one, Ophidian, where would you drive people to go to find out more and how they can get involved? Because you've got a big event coming up, September 23rd.
September 23rd at the Alamo. Never before in the history of Collier County or Naples has this much entertainment talent been under one roof. We have Billy Huffsey. He used to work with Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah, he was on Fame.
Yeah. Janet Jackson. You know, this is Hollywood talent. We have Rita Powers. She's a national casting director from New York. She's here. Carl Goldstein, my director. Last of the Mohicans, Die Hard 3, one of the, I think Sniper 5 or 6.
Last Action Hero.
Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
He's going to be there. Dave Shealy, Skunk Ape. This guy is a history. He's part of the history in Collier County. Alexia Model and Talent, my talent agency. If you're an actor or model, to get in front of a talent agency, you have to submit your information to via their website, and then they see if they would like to represent you. Okay, that's one way. Or they have open casting calls where you walk in once a day, or once a week, or something like that. I'm going to give you the opportunity to meet a talent agency in person, where you can actually hand them your modeling comp card or your headshot and your resume. A casting director, same thing. If you're an up-and-coming filmmaker or you want to make films, you want to talk to somebody who's worked on billion-dollar films, Carl Goldstein is going to be there as well. If you're an established filmmaker, he's going to be there. This is not an opportunity you want to miss if you're in the entertainment field, regardless of what genre you're in, because a casting director, a talent agencies represent everybody, musicians, dancers, kids, it doesn't matter. So this is a huge opportunity. Went.media is where you can go to my website and find out more about Ophidian, our upcoming events. We're also raffling off a Colt Python gun. It's part of the movie. Not part of the movie, but you can win a part of Ophidian.
Is there so you can win the Colt, and are you giving away any spots?
Yes. So the event, there is a cost for the event. It's $25. This is a fundraiser. It's $25 to get in. If you would like to win into the raffle to win the Python gun, it's $100 to enter the raffle. But just by attending for $25, you will have the opportunity to win an extra role on Ophidian. So we're going to pick a male and a female to win an opportunity to be on Ophidian.
That's great. And Carl, with I Possessed.
Well, I'm quitting. I'm going to be a model.
You're going to go.
So I'm going to go to Keith.
You want to switch seats then?
Me and Matt are going to get our modeling. That's right. I want to be a model.
I'm going to need a lot of power.
Is it too late for me?
Man, easy as it looks, man.
Right? Yeah, no, I can imagine. Where would you have people go check out I Possess and your future shows? And
yeah, well, just go to my link tree, Carl Rimi. /Carl Rimi, CarlRimi.
What is Linktree?
It's the just had where it's one thing where it has
you
all.
See how connected I am.
Like you could put it.
You were kidding around, but okay.
No, seriously.
We'll talk about that later.
Does all of that.
If you just click on that link, it'll take you to all my social media sites.
Okay.
So it's really quick.
And
Linktree. It'll have the
tree.
It'll have the trailer there, my IMDb and YouTube channel and all that stuff. Also, we've got a couple of events. I'll be at Spookala in October 6th through 8th. We'll have a booth there promoting the movie, bringing merch. And also, I'm doing a show in Wesley Chapel. There's a B&B theater there, which the comedy club is inside the theater in an actual theater.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's the Side Splitters, but it's the Wesley Chapel portion of it. Side Splitters is a comedy club, and this is a comedy club, but in a movie theater. So
very cool.
I'm headlining the shows. The 6th, 7th, 8th. No, the 26th through the 28th. I'll be headlining. If you come buy a ticket to one of my to my headlining shows, then you can get a free ticket. We're going to show our film on Sunday night at the theater. So, and hopefully, it might be another final test, or hopefully it's going to be all finished by then. So either way, it's going to be, in great shape. But, so that's what I'm promoting now. So Wesley Chapel. So the 29th of October, you can come watch the film.
That's fantastic. So I have one last question for you guys before we close it up. And we're going to ask everybody this on the show. If there's one thing that you could do in the world for the greater good that you could change or make better, what would that be?
I would focus on the homelessness, primarily veterans homelessness. We live in Collier County. We live in Naples. There's a lot of money flowing through here. We have to address the mental health issues. and also take care of the homeless people, especially the veterans that said, hey, I'm going to go to fight for your freedom. And that shouldn't be it. They should actually, do more for them, especially if they need it right now. And if you're homeless, homeless is one thing, but if you're a homeless veteran, that shouldn't be the case. That should be in some type of contract when you signed up where you're taken care of after your service.
What about you?
I got to reiterate that. Just take care of ourselves. Like, what are we doing? Like, let's take care of the homeless veterans that
took care of us,
and the ones that have problems now that took care of us right here in this land. Then stop worrying about everybody else.
Absolutely.
And also, maybe get rid of social media. We can all get along again.
Wait
right. I would love for everybody to get along.
I would love to just be able to mail my
Let's
go back to just DVDs and VHS.
Yes, could I just mail this back and you'll send it to me in 4 to 7 days? Well, I can't thank you guys enough for joining us on The Greater Good. I appreciate you guys' talent. I appreciate your art, and I really appreciate you guys having a heart for the community and to grow something together. That's something, and I really enjoy working with you guys. It is a dream of mine to do what I do every day, and you guys are helping me achieve that. And Hope and I want to continue to do that for everybody in the community. So in close, one of the things I want to bring attention to. So if you have free, or if I need to pay for it or whatever, I'm happy to do it. But if you have swag, like I'm wearing this, it's from, wrong arm. It's from the Till Valhalla Project. And what that does is for every t-shirt or for any apparel or mugs or bracelets that you buy from them, they write a letter and send a plaque to the Gold Star families who've lost a sailor, a Marine, or a soldier. And they do that every year just to let that family know that we love and appreciate them, and that we will never forget the sacrifice that their family and that their children or their mother or their made. And so that's why I wear this. I also wear this now, which I'm excited to say that my son Jordan is in the middle of basic training for the U.S. Army, and he just finished red phase. So I can't wait. I haven't talked to him for 2 weeks. I'm freaking out, but I'm really excited for him to do that. But if you have a cause or a charity or a nonprofit, and you want me to put this, I will wear a hat, I'll wear a shirt, within reason, folks. Let's not make it weird, okay? But I'm happy to promote you on the show and talk to people about the good that people are doing in the community, and really raise awareness. So, yes, Keith.
Hey, I feel like I'm in school. So I just want to thank you and Hope for putting this thing together and everything you guys have done for the community. The Golden Apple Awards, you guys are embedded in Collier County. People know your work and know what you do. And that is one reason why we partner up, because I like to be around people, work with people who have the same mindset and they're good people. So this title fits you guys perfectly, and now I'm part of it. So it's good.
Well, we're grateful. We're really grateful to be a part of this and be doing this, and we're going to continue. We wouldn't be here without guys like you and everybody in the community. To find out more about The Greater Good, just go to guerillamedia.tv, and there, just at the top of the page, there's click on The Greater Good, and it'll tell you all about the TV show, the podcast, where you can find it. If you'd like to be a guest, or if you'd like to sponsor a show, you can do that. You can call us at 239-450-5357. And you can help us spread the word of positivity, inspiration, and hope. Whether you're a business, a nonprofit, an individual, whatever you're doing. The show is going to be available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Pandora, Facebook, LinkedIn. Anywhere that pretty much will let us put the show, that's where it's going to be. So I wanted to thank Tim and Diana here from Studio 239. Without them, we love this studio. It's beautiful. I can't wait to come back next week and do some more stuff. Actually, our next episode, we are going to have April O'Leary from O'Leary Publishing, and she has a special guest she's bringing on with her nonprofit. So that's exciting to get to tell that story. I want to thank I Possess and Carl Rimi and Wallace Entertainment for helping us spread the word today. And as always, when you go throughout the weekend, just ask yourself, how can you make a difference and an impact for the greater good? Whatever it is, whatever you decide to do, make sure you leave it better than you found it.